To say. Donegal's Ryan McHugh joins us on the line this morning. Morning, Ryan. How are things?
I'm very good, lads. How are you?
Keeping well, keeping well. A big day, a red letter day for Donegal yesterday. A sad day with Michael Murphy finally hanging up his boots at the age of 33. 15 or 16 years service with the county. I think you've described him online as the greatest player you've seen in a Donegal jersey. Quite a big moment.
Yeah, it is sad, but I think over the last, suppose, number of hours, and days, suppose, looking back on highlights and of his career and stuff, just what a player he was, and I think not just what a player for the people that knew him very closely, pardon me, and got to work with him very closely, what a person, he's led our county since 2011. I think he made his debut in 2007. But when he was named captain by Jim McGuinness in 2011, how he led his county to the heights that we got to is phenomenal. It's a sad day, and we'll miss him hugely. But just looking back in his career, what a career he had.
I mean, we were talking yesterday, myself and Jared, about the fact that I think Donegal had 5 Ulster titles and 1 All-Ireland before Murphy started playing, and another 5 Ulsters and another 1 All-Ireland during his career. So, I mean, it's no coincidence. He was just a powerhouse.
He was. I think as you touched on a wee bit there, it is no coincidence that it wasn't just Michael, but Michael was such a huge part of I suppose from that time, 2011 onwards, of what Donegal achieved. It was Michael who was leading the whole thing, and to do it at such a young age, he was only 21 at that time as well. I think a lot of people forget about that. He was only 21 when he was named captain of Donegal. I think that's extremely unique, and to keep it to the day that he retired is phenomenal, but just the way he led. Going to training every single night, he was the player that you looked up to. Every single player, no matter if you were the oldest player in the squad or the youngest player in the squad, he was always the player that you looked up to. I know from my own point of view, when I came into the dressing room first in 2013, I had so many role models. From watching Donegal and growing up, going to all the games, had so many role models and get to play alongside them and train alongside them. But as I got into it, he was definitely the one man that I would have learned so much off. I always would have learned so much off from being a wing back, off Cara Dacey, frankly, and these boys. But Michael was the one that I always tried to copy, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch, just the way he lived his life. It was so professional. He lived his life to the letter of the law to give himself the best chance to play the best he could for his county, whether that was going to training on Tuesday or Thursday night, or that was in a championship match at the weekend. He gave himself the best opportunity, and I think the way he played showed that.
What was he like in the dressing room, Ryan? I mean, we know he was a leader from a young age in that dressing room, and he becomes captain in 2011. Leads them to the All Ireland the following year. Was he someone who said few words in the dressing room, as you say, led by example, or what were the general lessons you learned from him?
I think he got the mixture right. He spoke when he needed to speak, and he led by playing when he, I think and a lot of players will understand. There's a big saying in all sports, but you are what you train, and Michael Murphy was the hardest trainer in Donegal every single night, and I think that was what separated him from every other, not just Donegal players, but all. I can only speak for Donegal players, but I think that's what separated him. He trained, I should say, as if he was playing the All-Ireland final and that day every single night of training. And I think that's how he brought so many of us with him, the other Donegal players, in terms of sitting in the dressing room, he's just a great lad, everyone got on the best of him. I think, he'll have best friends, and we're all best friends with him for life, but he did lay down the law when he needed it, when he had to get on to players, or if there was any problems, it was Michael that you went in, and Michael would obviously relay it back to the management team, but I think that Michael's biggest strength is, I would always go back to that, and what his biggest strength was just the way he trained every single night of the week, and again, I go back to the other one, not just on the training pitch, how he lived his life. I heard a saying a couple of years ago. It was an S&C coach of ours, Aaron Kyles, always said. He said, "It's not about the 2 hours that you train; it's the other 22 hours of the day what you do." And Michael loved them other 22 hours of the day so professionally, and that gave him the best chance to train, which obviously gave him the best chance to play at the weekend.
Ryan, you mentioned that he wasn't afraid to lay down the law. Were you ever on the receiving end of it?
There have been a couple of times, not just simple things, not anything major, but. If he had to call you out, he definitely wasn't shy in calling you out, as all players are, and I can imagine every other teams are. He was our captain, so he's our leader. I think there's not many other teams that can say that they probably had the same captain from 2011, since the first day I came in 2013, I've had the same captain since. It's going to be a strange year next year whenever the captain's announced in the Donegal squad who it's going to be, you know. But I've had the same captain, and I think every single player in Donegal wouldn't have had it any other way, because we knew Michael was our leader. He was the man we went to. As I said, when times got tough, he was the man we looked at, and he always stood up. So he did, you know. He never shied away from it. Probably wasn't easy at times, you know, but he never shied away from it, you know.
Even Eamon McGee writing yesterday, Ryan, in the paper, and he's again someone who knows him very well, and he said he never saw it coming. And even in his own statement, he talked about, you know, speaking, I guess, in the dressing room after the defeat to Armagh and Clonus last year. And he said the last time we sat together in the changing rooms in Clonus, I told my teammates that whatever happened in the future, Donegal will always go on. Don't know if there was a hint in that maybe at what his thinking was, but were you surprised at the announcement? Like, did you see it coming?
I was a wee bit shocked, I suppose, when it announced. Right, Michael give us a ring, give a lot of the boys a ring just to tell us all beforehand, you know. So I got chatting to him. So yeah, disappointed and a wee bit shocked, you know. Everyone thought Michael Murphy was going to go on forever, you know. As unfortunately, all good things do have to come to an end. But yeah, I suppose going back to the Armagh game at the end, he, as always, when on losing day and going out of the championship, you know, the captain of the team always speaks, and he touched on that there will be a Donegal team going out. But definitely at that time, I thought that Michael Murphy would be playing full forward for us next year, you know. But it was a huge shock. So it was. Again, it's not something that I seen coming when I was chatting to him all throughout, you know, the last number of months during the club championship stuff. Definitely thought that he was going to be playing, but as I said, all good things have to come to an end, and I've really enjoyed, you know, over the last number of hours and days, I suppose, since he has announced it, just looking back in his career. Just, there is stuff at the start of his career that, you know, I was probably a wee bit younger that you would not remember and stuff like that, but looking back on it, just what a career he had. I think there's not much he hasn't won. You know, he's won the Irelands, he's won Ulsters, he's won All-Stars, he's won club championships. I think I've seen, unfortunately, Kilcar point of view, we were on the receiving end one, but I think he's played in 3 county championships and Kilcar finals, and he's been or Glenswell, I should say, have won 3 county championships in Donegal, and he's been man of the match in every one of them, you know. So what he's given to his county and his club is nothing short of phenomenal.
It's mad. Like, you just think of the success he's had, and such a leader as well in the moments, as you say, that have kind of cropped up on social media in the last number of days. Like, there's the goal in that 2012 All-Ireland final against Mayo. There was the keeping the ball in at the sideline for the Kevin Cassidy point against Kildare in 2014. There was a lovely one for DCU as well in the Sigerson, where he kind of dummy solos over Rory O'Carroll's head and dinks it over with the outside of his right foot. Like, so many unbelievable moments. Like, anything that stands out to you particularly as kind of the highlights of his career?
I suppose from a Donegal point of view, it would probably be the 2012 All-Ireland final against Mayo. You know, remember going up to watch that game. Phenomenal, you know, just a phenomenal performance, you know, to get off to that, and by getting to know the boys and getting to know Michael over the next number of years, you know, how many times they actually practiced that in training and worked on that in training, and for it to come off on the biggest day and in our calendar, you know. I suppose that would definitely be the biggest one. But the amount of moments and great moments that Michael has given to people at Donegal, you know, it's just nothing short of phenomenal. As I said, you know, every single year when the going tough, it was always Michael that stood up for us, and we always rode in behind him. But I think from a Donegal point of view, it would definitely be the 2012 the goal, and to see him go up the steps in Croke Park to lift Sam Maguire was something special.
It was funny, like we were talking on the show yesterday about you know, even what he's like off the pitch, Ryan. Like, you know, the fact that he has sponsored the Donegal Senior Championship, you know, since his mid-20s. There was the great story from Gordon Manning in the Irish Times yesterday, where he was named man of the match for Donegal in the win over Tyrone in late of May last year. Finished his interview with TG Carr and walks towards the cameraman Brendan O'Donnell, and everyone in Donegal will be familiar with Brendan's brother Michael Jack O'Donnell, who had a well-known Donegal photographer who had passed away at the start of that month. And Michael had obviously got to know him over the years, Michael Murphy, and walks towards Brendan, his brother, and hands him his man of the match award and says it's for his brother. Like, it's just little moments like that, I'm sure, that stand out and kind of speak volumes as to Michael Murphy the person. Yeah,
no, exactly. You know, as I said, he is a phenomenal player and a phenomenal leader, and everything to do with Donegal GA. He's led the whole thing, but off the field, you couldn't meet a nicer person. So you couldn't, a more genuine person. You know, as you said, simple wee things like that. just separates him, I think, from other people. Michael Jack would have been at every single Donegal game. He would have been at the few training sessions, even coming up to games, working for the numerous papers and stuff, taking pictures, and just simple things like that, that a lot of people wouldn't think of, that Michael definitely thinks of, that separates him, as I said, from other people. And there's numerous stories like that off the top of the head. I can't think of one, but there is numerous stories like that, different things after games. Obviously, Michael was always the biggest profile in Donegal, and Michael could be standing for hours after games taking pictures with young supporters and young fans on the pitch when we're all in the shower or getting changed and heading away for post-match meal and stuff like that. Michael would be outstanding taking pictures with kids, and never shied away from anything like that, so he didn't. So definitely couldn't speak enough or highly enough about Michael off the pitch. As I said, from my point of view, when I came in, he was the one person that I always looked to try copy. But just the way that he did live his life off the pitch was phenomenal, and he'll be a massive miss. So he will. There's no point beating around the bush. He's going to be a massive, massive miss for Donegal, and not just as a player, but as a person around the dressing room, and as a friend, as a close friend to a lot of us. It's going to be a massive miss.
Just looking at Michael's statement here that he released on his retirement, and the last line stood out to me, Ryan, where he said, "Maybe in the years ahead I'll find new ways to offer something more to my home county." Straight away I'm thinking future Donegal manager, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, someone with his leadership qualities, you wouldn't back against it.
No, I definitely wouldn't. I suppose there's always in programmes before games, a lot of players get asked different questions: favourite film, favourite hobbies, blah blah blah, and then there's always one question: who do you think is going to be a future manager in the dressing room? 99% of the players always said Michael, so they did, and the answer so did. So listen, I definitely think he has so much to offer Donegal. His pride and love for the county. I think I couldn't see him not get involved with Donegal in the future. Whether how long he takes away from the game is completely up to Michael. But definitely can see him in the future, whether that's coaching or management. As his knowledge of the modern game especially is second to none. So it is. He's dipped his toes into management not that long ago with ATU it is now, which would have been when Michael was there, LYAT, the college in Letterkenny. He's managed his club, Glenswilly Minor there. He took Glens's minor team to the championship final there only a couple of weeks ago. So he has dipped his toes into coaching and management. So I definitely can see him, and hopefully from a Donegal point of view again in the very near future getting involved, whether that's coaching or management. And I think he'll be great.
Finally, Ryan, how are you feeling about Donegal's 2023? You've got the Division 1 campaign, of course, first to look forward to. And Paddy Carney and O'Rourke, a new management team in there as well. So exciting times. And look, a very, very competitive Ulster Championship now that Derry and Armagh have stuck the hands up, as well as the likes of Tyrone and Monaghan. Yeah,
exactly. I suppose with Michael's news over the last couple of days, it's been, looking forward to a different way. It's going to be a different Donegal team, so it is. I don't know when's the last time a Donegal team has fielded championship football without Michael. So it's going to be different, but looking forward to it. As a player, that's what you want to do is play games. And I was going through it with a friend of mine there last day, just the amount of games that's actually going to be played next year. So I think it's a really exciting time to be a Gaelic footballer. We always said that's what we want to be doing is playing games and maybe not training as much, but getting in as many games. And we're going to get the opportunity to do that next year with the new format. So it is. So listen, it's only around the corner. We've Kerry in the first match. Nice easy start for us playing Kerry in the first match up in Donegal. But I'm looking forward to it. There'll be a huge crowd. So there will. Any time Kerry comes to town, there's always a huge crowd. So getting back into the run of things now over the next couple of weeks and trying to just put ourselves in the best position going forward. As you said, it's not going to be easy. The league's going to be difficult. The Ulster Championship's going to be difficult. And then I suppose with the unknown, with the new format after that. So it's exciting times as a Gaelic footballer in general to see how the new format and everything works. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited. As I said, it's going to be a wee bit different in a Donegal dressing room next year without Michael. But as we touched on, unfortunately, all good things come to an end. So, and as Michael said himself, after our Mag game, there's always going to be a Donegal team going forward, and a Donegal team, no matter who's playing, will go out and represent the county the best way possible. So from a Donegal player, we're looking forward to it, and hopefully we can put our best foot forward.
Absolutely. Ryan, you've been great with your time. Thanks a million for joining us this morning.
No problem at all, lads. Thanks a million.
Great stuff. Ryan McHugh there, Donegal footballer, and of course Kilcar clubman as well.